Now, let's get some details on a story we've been hearing about for the last few days. It's been bubbling under, lots of suggestions of arrest, but nothing absolutely clarified. Police in KwaZulu-Natal saying today that these recent reports about arrests in the AKA and Tebello Tibz Motsoane murders are misleading. The rapper and his close friend gunned down outside a Durban restaurant last month, a clear and direct hit. Senior reporter Dasen Thathiah caught up with the KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner, Nhlanhla today. Dasen joins us now. Dasen, thank you so much. You've managed to get some clarity from the Provincial Commissioner regarding the AKA case. Let's just listen in to that conversation and then we'll chat afterwards.
It would be unfair of me not to ask about this current debacle over AKA's alleged killers' arrests. There have been lots of media reports, supposed arrests in Cape Town, but we haven't heard anything officially from SAPS and KZN. How do you respond to what's been going on?
Yeah, well, I'm sure you haven't heard anything because we've been driving around as we are visiting here. But I've issued a statement. We've issued a statement. I want to invite you to read the statement. It's applicable to all media houses. And we just want to confine ourselves with what we said on the statement. I don't want to elaborate further.
And that was where the conversation with General Motsoane ended. In fact, we were talking to him on the sidelines of that visit by the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee on Police. They were in KZN on another issue, looking at the situation at some of the police labs here. But I obviously had to slip in that question and ask him about this because there's been a lot of speculation about these possible arrests that took place in Cape Town. So what we've been able to confirm since then is that, yes, there were in fact arrests, but whether they are in fact linked to the AKA murder or not, that remains to be seen. And this is essentially the gist of what we're getting from that statement that police had put out. They're saying that any reports are premature, the course of investigations that they are carrying out now, and they feel that speculation and could jeopardize that investigation that they are currently dealing with. The saying is that they're asking all of us for patience and saying that when there's something, they will, and that's essentially what the statement had said. As an aside, Sal, I've also been talking to, I guess, almost every police source I have. We've been talking to the NPA. We've been trying to get as much information as possible between the Western Cape and KwaZulu-Natal, because that's where the arrests happened, in the Western Cape. And what we've been able to establish so far is that there was a group of men that was arrested. I believe that they are now in KwaZulu-Natal, and they will most likely be appearing in court soon. But this would be on different charges, because the reason why these men were arrested in the first place was because, according to our police sources, they were in possession of a hijacked vehicle. They had fled. This was a vehicle that was also used in another crime, in another potential hit. And these men then led to Cape Town, and that's when they were arrested. What is clear now is that, yes, there was a crime committed, yes, there were arrests that took place, but what is not clear is whether the men that are in custody are in fact linked to the murder of AKA. In fact, some of the police sources saying that it's a bit premature to make that link just yet.
I just want to pick up on an issue you mentioned, and this is the processing of ballistics or bullet testing, which can be so important to link guns to crime scenes, etc., etc. There are problems there. Talk to me about that.
Well, this is the thing, and especially if you look at a province like KwaZulu-Natal, this type of testing is particularly important. Not that it isn't in other parts of the country, but I think you would understand the context, considering the reports that we've been bringing you from the province relating to some of the violent crime here. So the issue around the labs has been an ongoing problem. In fact, the particular talking about in the Motsoane itself has been subjected to flooding previously. There are other sorts of issues around strains, there are electricity problems at times, and these are rented buildings that the SAPS is using. So all contributes in some way or form to delays in processing this type of information. And you would also know that, especially when dealing with these types of cases, not just the high profile ones like AKAs, but any particular matter, of the essence, and this needs to happen quickly. So the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee had come here today. They met with the Provincial Commissioner. They were trying to understand the nature of the problem and possible solutions. That they also then visited this laboratory that I'm referring to now. Let's listen to a conversation that I had with the chairperson of that committee earlier today.
There's a backlog with the issues of DNA. It has an impact on the issue of GBV and femicide, issue of ballistic testing. It has an impact on when you have a crime scene, you are able to... Maybe the AKA issue also is affected by that. But what I know is that the investigations are on, and they're just about to effect an arrest.
Yeah, this is so worrying because, of course, we know that DNA testing, which very often relates to sort of murder and rape crimes, that backlog has largely been dealt with now. But when it comes to ballistic testing, that seems to still be a bit of a hiccup. Let's listen to the police response.
This is a second high-profile visit that we've had. The previous visit was the minister who came here with a delegation from head office, accompanied by the National Commissioner, in order to try and give us solutions with regard to the lab in the province. And as the receiver of the product that comes from the lab in SAPS KZN, we appreciate that, and we hope that with this visit there's going to be work done, because the lab that we currently have, or the facilities that have been used at Motsoane, are nowhere closer to help us push the workload that we need to push. It's leased buildings which have got many other challenges, despite the fact that they get flooded every now and then. But we also have challenges with regard to the space. We have challenges with regard to the power. Each time there's load shedding, and some of them don't necessarily have backup generators, and that contribute into the poor performance from the forensic lab. But we hope that with these visits, the pressure and the focus is going to be more in trying to help us.
Yeah, load shedding again, affecting every aspect of South African life. Dasen Thathiah in Durban, thank you so much for that update. Police very tight-lipped on the AKA potential arrest. They've confirmed arrests were made, but they are not confirming any link to the double murder of AKA and his friend last month in Durban. Let's move